This morning we're talking money with our good friend Bernadette Joy. Now, most financial experts agree that a budget is necessary in order to reach retirement. But when you research online how to make one, most of the methods are highly administrative and they feel like drudgery. So we've brought our expert in here to talk about this issue indeed. You said you paid off $300,000, and you're going to talk about 3 categories where it talks about being in the budget.
Yes, so most people are not on a budget because it's boring.
You know that's right.
And it sucks a little bit, right? And so my husband and I, we were able to pay off $300,000 of debt, and we were able to retire early because we streamline our budget into just 3 categories so that it is not painful like most other people teach you.
Okay, can I ask you the personal question? How long did it take you guys?
It took us about 6 months to get on track with the budget. So when we first started, the first couple of months, you're just trying to figure out how much you're spending. You're like having a little bit of arguments every now and then. And then once we got into it after 6 months, now we've been doing it for 7 years. 7 years straight, and it has really changed our trajectory and also helped our marriage.
Okay, so does that mean when you paid off this budget, and before we get into the categories, I mean, there's no splurging, there's no extra stuff like that? I mean,
there is splurging.
Oh, okay,
there is, yes. Because I figured out that if you do the budgeting that a lot of people tell you to do, where you're not allowed to spend anything on fun or entertainment and stuff, you're just not going to stick to it. So the way that I teach budgeting is that there's definitely some room for fun and some life to live.
Okay, when I think of a budget, before we get into it, I think of tracking expenses. But you say that's not a good thing.
No. So one of the biggest mistakes that people make with budgeting is that they focus on just tracking after you've already spent it. So think about that. Does that really help you if you're just doing it after the fact?
Yeah, it doesn't help you because it's already gone.
Because it's already gone. You already spent the money. So instead, I teach people to plan ahead of time and do their budget at the beginning of the month with these 3 categories. And if you plan it well, then you don't have to track as much because you already are doing the thing you're supposed to be doing.
Okay, I know the people out there waiting. What are the 3 categories?
Okay, so the 3 categories that I have, they're based off the word to live, right? Because your budget should be a living document, something that you should be looking at all the time, right? So the first category is survive. Survive. So that's pretty self-explanatory. That's what most people expect their budget to be. It's the 5 main categories that everybody must have. It's their housing, right? So your rent or your mortgage. It would be your utilities to keep the house on, right?
Gotta operate it.
Then your transportation, so your car, your gas, your insurance for that. Then it's your food, and then it's your health expenses. And that is just the 5 main categories that everyone should have in their budget that most people are spending most of their time on.
Okay, and then you got survive, and then you talk about revive?
Yes, so that's where we get to the fun stuff, right?
Okay.
So then the next part of my budget is revive, and it's all of those things that I don't necessarily need, but I want, right?
Okay, I like that, yeah.
So like your cool socks,
yes, right?
right? Or like getting my hair done, or sometimes taking the family out for dinner.
So this is just a splurging.
Right. And so I figured out that if you don't have a revive, and this is where a lot of people mess up on their budgets, they try to scrimp and save every single penny, and then they stop budgeting. So actually, instead, I have every one of my students do a revive category of the things that matter to them, the things that light them up, and make them excited to spend money.
You're really good at this stuff. All right, so tell me about the last category. What is that?
So the last category, I call it strive.
Strive.
So those are like your future goals, right? So that's the money that you're putting into your budget to help you grow your wealth. So it could be things like paying down your credit card debt, it could be putting into your emergency fund, it could be putting into your retirement, or it could be putting into other investing, right? And so that category is, the way that I think about it, it's helping me live my future self.
Okay, I get it. All right, so does this allow you to stay motivated while you're doing all this?
Yes. So I figured out that if you can stick to the 3 categories versus having most people, when I first start teaching them budgeting, they have like 20, 25 different categories, and it just becomes really messy. But instead, if you put into these 3 bigger buckets, you can say, okay, well, this is how much I'm spending on my current life, right? Just to survive.
Gotcha.
Here's how much I'm spending to like enjoy my life right now. And then here's how much,
future.
And this is my future life. And it makes it so much simpler and less overwhelming for most people.
Okay, you have a free guide that you also want to give away. Tell me about this free guide.
Yes, so on my website, it's crushyourmoneygoals.com. I give away a free guide. It's the 10 tools that help me become a debt-free millionaire that anyone can use, and I would highly recommend that you read it.
And you teach a lot of people now this, right? And that's what you've been doing?
Yes. I teach financial education classes online, in person. I'm actually teaching some in-person classes in Charlotte this month, and so if you want to check that out, you can head on to my social media at Bernadette Joy, and you can see where I'm teaching.
And it's practical. You do practical things.
For everyday people. For everyday people.
Bernadette, thank you for being here. Give me that. Crush Your Money Goals?
Crushyourmoneygoals.com.
Crushyourmoneygoals.com. You got that in house. Thank you very much for being here, Bernadette.
Thanks for having me.